Cool. All right, so this is a test for a couple of things, not the least of which being I just applied an extender for the Wi-Fi that is outside of this room, and the device says that the Wi-Fi is like 5 bars, which is an unusual thing that has never happened before. So we'll see if it is streaming well for everybody. Also think I need to adjust the camera just a bit. Don't mind me. Trying to simultaneously get this thing and not have my head. Yeah, I noticed. Hmm. I mean, it might just be, I don't want to make it too high. All right. Oh, did you find the spider? Well, so much for you, Mr. Spider. Bye. Yep. Okay. You don't like that, huh? Did I put it down on your buddy? Or no, you're just chewing on the... Really? I wondered how the edge of that thing had tooth marks on it, and now I no longer wonder. Okay, so the whole purpose here is Kyphi. Burning it is a pain in the ass. And we've been playing around with a whole bunch of different types of things for that. It's not going to work. And so I picked up, this is on Etsy, and it's a little burner. It comes in pieces. And it is set up for a votive little like tea light, and it is adjustable. Now you got to put it together. This is the finished product. So this little pole gets stuck in, but you have to put this bit in it first. So yeah, stick that in there, and you find a little hole on this bit, and very carefully thread it through. And just twist, twist, twist. By the way, this was about $20 to $25 depending on the seller. All right, then it has this little knob bit, and that goes in over here, and you screw that in, but not all the way, because it is what fixes this thing at different levels up to the tea light. So you can have it all the way up here or all the way right on top of the open flame. And then you tighten that off and it stays. And then the final thing is you have a little foot bit that you put on here. So it is a little tricky to get the threads working, but you know, just tighten that, and now it's got its little things and it stands and does what this does. So this is a little bit of the lunar eclipse. So protection during the dark hours. And let's see if this gets hot enough to actually activate. Oh, it's already smoking. Well, we'll see. It's good smell. Yeah, the question will be like, I think that it will be a matter of like kind of playing around with adjusting it.
It's glowing in a way that and it sounds like it's bubbling. I think that might be too close.
I can see through it.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, it's definitely scorching.
Okay. Ah, well, I need, let's see if I can adjust it. So, pro tip. No, you can adjust it. without having to grab it. But if you've got this thing over the flame, don't touch it.
Good pro tip.
Because I almost went to do that and I was like, no, that seems warm. Okay, that might be a little too high up. Let's find somewhere in between. But this one gives you a little bit of control. It is nearly twice as expensive as a cheap Bakur burner. But the one thing with the Bakur burners that are $12 to $15 is you don't have the option to adjust the temperature. Like you just have like one straight temperature. And the way to control scorching on a Bakur burner is using like they will usually sell these little inserts. So like you've got like what looks like a little pie tin, but a teeny tiny one, and you put that in there and it gives just a little bit of space between the heating element and the thing. Okay, that seems better. Got a little bit of smoke, but not too much. Now this comes with this little thing, which I noticed that several of the shops sold replacements. So you could feasibly just burn right on top of this and scrape it off. But remember, Kyphi is very, very sticky. It's a heavily resinous incense. So the one problem with reusing it without a little bit of tinfoil or something is if you are trying to get different scents and you have built up layers of the previous stuff and they haven't come off, you're going to have the scent of the previous stuff kind of adulterating the new stuff. Yep, I want to put it a little closer again. So how about there? Now, the best burner that I have found for Kyphi so far is called a Lotus burner. Uh, it is imported from Japan, and it's electric. You plug it into the wall. It looks, about yay big. It is expensive. It's about $70, depending on places. The most reliable place to buy it, I have found, is Mermaid Magical Arts. I've I've searched high and low for the company that makes it, because clearly, like they're getting it from a company and then they're reselling it, which usually implies at least some markup. But I cannot track down that company. Well, I should say I did find versions of it being sold on Alibaba, which is sort of the Asian world's version of Amazon, but Alibaba is complicated to navigate and a little weird. Like you're buying things in enormous bulk. It's all imported. There's a lot of taxes and tariffs on things. So your results, honestly, for ease of use, it's better to go through Mermaid Magical Arts for this. But like I said, it's a $70 piece of equipment. But the upside is it's got a very sturdy heating element. It's beautiful, and it has a dial, and it controls the temperature between 120 and 250. So you've got a pretty significant range of heating on it. And I've found that for most Kyphi, between 190 and 220 seems to be about the sweet spot for like releasing maximum scent for like the longest period of time. Because of course this is a precious, expensive incense and you want it to last as long as you can. I think the cool thing is, in rolling it, you end up with these like pea-sized marbles of Kyphi, but they're still mushy, and you can break little pieces off, flatten them in your finger, and put them on the incense burner, and it's such a very pungent, rich incense that even tiny little bits will like give you a significant amount of scent. So each of those little balls that comes in the Kyphi thing, there's 9 in the current shipments. That's like multiple uses if you're careful and you just like spread it out. Hmm, I like this.
Yeah, it's a good smell.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is like you can tell pretty quickly if it's scorching because it has that burnt sugar smell. How is the streaming for everybody?
We've got a couple comments saying it's a little choppy now.
Okay,
So 20 minutes into,
okay,
oh no, 8 minutes into the stream.
okay.
A couple people say it's choppy. And it's looking choppier on my screen too.
Wonder what changed. Yeah, the
Bars are still looking good.
the signal dropped over here for some reason.
Interesting.
I don't know why. I I'm still experimenting with where the range extender goes. The instructions say put it halfway between the router and the dead zone. So it's basically
So
like
not too close to that.
right. So I put it at the base of the stairs because that was like the closest place to kind of like try to put it and boost it. Because initially my first place would have been to like put it just outside of the ritual chamber.
But maybe that's too close.
Well, and too far away from the router itself. Now I got two of them,
So
and
tried
yeah,
two.
and that's the thing is that you can basically chain them.
Nice.
But I will be perfectly honest, like it was a pain. As long as I was holding the equipment, it wouldn't work. Like it wouldn't recognize anything. It was just like, you don't have this thing. I'm looking for it. It doesn't exist. So I like it's got an app on the phone. So I set the thing down and I moved far away and I'm like, I just poke the thing on the phone and I put the phone down and I'm just like, okay, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. And then it worked. So, and if that wasn't a regular occurrence in my life, it would feel like magical thinking, but it's ridiculous.
It really is. Was the Do we have a link to those burners?
Yeah, actually, what is it?
Say the name again. I can just look
It's a tea light incense burner. Um, there were several shops on Etsy that had it. If you want to do a search in my email or through my Etsy account, you can find the one that I bought it from. They had the best price, and they were very quick and awesome for shipping.
tea light incense burner.
And the other thing is if you're crafty, this is a pretty easy thing to sort of set up. Like basically what you need is a tea light and something that is sturdy that allows you to adjust how close something is burning over the tea light. And obviously the main bits of it can't be flammable themselves. So you could get crafty and make something, but if you're not feeling up to it, or if the materials that you would need would be more expensive than $20, then you might as well just buy it off of Etsy at this point. Yeah, one of the other hacks that I was looking into was they make those little electric mug warmers for mugs of tea or coffee. And unfortunately, the temperature on those doesn't go over 150 or 160 degrees, and it won't be hot enough to really release the scent of your Kyphi. All it's going to do is melt it into goo. So basically, what that would do is it would make the Kyphi feel like it was on a very, very hot summer afternoon in the desert. And I mean, that's the one downside with this incense is it's very finicky, at least in the ways that we are accustomed to burning incense. We've got incense sticks, which are basically self-lighting. You put a flame to them, and once you have a coal going, they keep going and they burn on down on their own, same as most cones. And the way that we've learned to burn most resin incenses is directly on the charcoal. But I've got to tell you, in playing around with not putting a resinous incense directly on charcoal, we are wasting our incense. We are destroying it. Like we're burning it too quickly. We're not getting the full effect, and in a lot of ways, we're scorching it. So what we've become accustomed to with just a self-lighting charcoal and dumping incense on top of it, that is not optimal. Mm. Yeah, I've got just a little bit of bubbling with it as close as it is here, but not in a bad way.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like as some people say, it's a little choppy for me, or the sound is cutting out. Other people are like, it just got really good for me. So it's definitely better than it was yesterday when I
Yeah.
didn't have the booster.
Well, yeah, the screen just went blank. Like it was just not having it. But isn't this a cozy space? Like this is super cool.
Yeah, people have been admiring the library and how awesome it looks.
Yeah, this is the Grand Throne.
The fanciest corner.
I spoke at I'm trying to remember the name of the store. It's in Chicago on Bryn Mawr. And they had for their speakers this old, very, very ornate, almost throne-like carved chair with like reddish burgundy upholstery and like all these like dragon and lion heads and things on the ends of the. It was just this fantastic. Where did you even find this? Oh, now it's getting a little bit of a burny smell. So, I mean, the one thing with the incense, and this is why I say pinch off tiny bits to experiment. There's going to be a trial and error for getting like exactly the way you want it to smell. And this also might be a little finicky because these are the odds and ends from that particular run of incense. There were a couple of chunks that didn't, and I think it was the Opoponax, the Google gum, that didn't melt completely. And it had little chunks of wood from the tree it was harvested from. And so as we're rolling the Kyphi, that stuff is coming out, and then there's like these like big chunky bits that it's like, nope, but it's still covered in the dragon's blood and all of the rest of the incense. So we like just set it aside, and I hung on to it for experiments, just like this. What?
Yeah, everybody's just commenting on how much they love the library.
It's a pretty cool space. You can't see the awesome rug that I'm standing on, but it's like rich burgundies and browns and.
The same one that is in the picture of the library.
True. Actually, yeah, it is. It is identical to the one that I got for the Library of Inspiration House. I liked it so much that I wanted it down here too. Also, it was on sale. As I reveal the fact that I am definitely a Capricorn, born in the year of the rat. Sale. It was on sale. It was 70% off. What?
Interesting. A couple people who haven't been commenting on the YouTube video but have been commenting on Patreon are saying that they're having an issue where when they try to comment, they get shunted out of the video, so they can't comment on YouTube.
Huh.
It's a very.
I don't know if that's a
I have no idea.
streaming thing. I don't know what the fuck is going on with that. Okay, well, it's good to know. That's helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I'm looking around here, I'm realizing, like, seeing the doubles of like Eastern Body, Western Mind, which we have. What? There's a copy that came with you from your mom. There's a copy that was mine. There was a copy that somebody gave to me because they were sure that I needed that book, which is also why I started telling people, don't buy me books. If you want to get me a book, get me an Amazon gift card. Because even I can't keep track of all of the books that I've got at this point, as testified by the several grimoires, which are doubled up now. Elfie Music has made out like a bandit in a few cases where I'm like, so I got 2 copies of the Book of Oberon and this other really rare thing. Would you like one? Here. Yeah, the only thing, the Bakur burners that I've picked up, one of the things that I liked about them is they came with tiny little tongs for the incense, so you could kind of like shift it around. I'm a little bit fireproof, so I'm not sure how dangerous what I'm doing actually would be for anybody else. I'm going to move it down closer and see how that changes the scent, because it's Okay. Now the thing that appeals to me this is like this little grate bit looks like what they were describing. So I had mentioned that the ancient Egyptians had like this. It's shaped like a hand making an offering that's holding the bowl for the incense, and it's hollow along the bit that you hold, and it simultaneously gives you a handle so that like where the business end of the hot coal and stuff is, like it's far enough away from you, you can hold it and you're not going to get scorched by it. And then like there's like a little cup that the hand is holding, and from the images it looks like there's a coal in the bottom and then like a little grate in the cup, and then you drop the little pellets of incense on top of that. And to keep the coal going, it's it's like a pipe, so you can blow into it. I kind of want to recreate it. I've poked around to see like if there's something like that out there, and I haven't seen anybody who's tried to recreate it. You'd figure that some enterprising grad student would do it. Okay, also, full disclosure, every metal part of this gets hot. So, like, this is hot to the touch, that's hot to the touch, this is definitely hot to the touch. So, once you get it going, you have this little wood bit to touch. Down here is still cold, but anything that's being heated by the candle is actually really quite warm. So use with extreme caution if you have cats or dogs that might, unwisely come over and stick their nose on this. Try to put it somewhere where they're not going to get into it. Children too. Yeah, because yeah, I can feel that. So
Cool. You okay?
oh yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm like testing to see how long does the sense of heat, the actual heat linger on my finger. I would say that that would probably burn somebody else.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Now, for the full on, like what happens if you have it really, really low? For science. Cool. There we go. Starting to get a little bit of smoke, and I really should have put my reading glasses on.
So do you have a favorite burner? Like, do you like the buckwheat burners better?
Um, I like the Bakur burners to a point, but the fact that I couldn't totally control the temperature and they seemed to be set a little hot was why I started looking for something that had the option to like dial up and down. Now, I would imagine someone who has like a little bit of like an electrical engineering background and is a little crafty could probably, for fairly expensive, make something with a heating element and a dial. And I'm half tempted to talk to your friend Maddie and see if we can't make something that's like that, that's small, that isn't too fancy, that is not $70, because I know that that's a lot. It's a good investment. Like I've enjoyed the end result.
Well, somebody mentioned finding a buckwheat burner for under 20.
Yeah, no, I've seen Bakur burners burners for as low as 12. Adder Mist and a couple of places that sell on Amazon. So 12 to 15 is a price that you're going to find for most Buckhor burners, having looked for all of it. There are some higher end ones, and there are a few Buckhor burners that have some like dial in like low, medium, high settings. But like the cheapest one is it's a fancy little thing with a heating element, plugs into the wall, heats it up electrically, gets a little bit hot. So like there will get a point where it will start to scorch a little bit, and you'll still smell the difference as it gets too hot. But as it's heating up, it spends a fair amount of time in the optimal temperature range for Kyphi.
Have you tried an aroma melt warmer?
I haven't tried melt. Well, actually, I tried one that was made by Yankee Candle that was for wax melts. And in the same way that the little mug warmers are tuned a little too low, that just melted the Kyphi. Like it didn't release any of the scent. I mean, it did vaguely, but it mostly just. I imagine that wasn't getting much hotter than like 150 degrees, maybe 160, and it was just on the end of not being able to like get anything going. Several people, there are like little soapstone burners that are the same like this, where they're heated up with a votive candle, and I've had good reports that it's worked for people and has been a pretty useful thing to use. The only difference is those are static, which is to say that you've got like a base and you put the little candle in the base and you've got a little bowl that sits on top of the base, but there's no chance to like raise it or lower it. So, keep that in mind. Something just came over my earbud.
Really?
Only the left one.
Oh, that's exciting.
Like it was a crackle of static and a voice. Like that shouldn't happen.
I'm having trouble connecting.
Nope, still looks okay on this end.
It's a little choppy.
Yeah.
There was also a question. Where is the fancy liqueur burner? Is that all the way upstairs, or is it?
I've got it in our room. It's in our room, right by the clock. I realize at this point this is like an internet. It had a base that you took it off of, but that's okay. Yeah, it sits on the base. I mean, it needs it to sit steady because there's a dial under here. Okay, so this is the Lotus burner. Like I said, it's really, really pretty. Comes with this wire and this adjustable thing on it, and the lid, and then the heating element is in there. It comes with one insertable cup, which I strongly recommend that you cover with a little bit of tin foil. The first thing is do not put any incense directly on this heating element. Put the incense in the cup. There's also the option where there's again like these little automatic tins. This one was for the core burner, and I kind of gerrymandered it into shape. But so you'll see like these little pie tins, little cupcake tin looking things that they sell. And oh, sorry. And yeah, I'm still working out the mirror imaging here. And you just sort of put that on here. Like I said, this one is not made for this, so it's too big, so this doesn't sit perfectly well, but that's you get the gist of it. But this one, as you can see, it's really pretty. It came in a fancy box that I cannot bear to throw away because it was so cool, much to Illyria's chagrin. And it's like $69. It's $70. But again, really pretty, very durable, and it has settings from 150 to 250, and just plugs into your regular American wall socket. And this little bit here, of course, keeps it up off of things. Since it's all porcelain, the body of it doesn't get hot, unlike that, which I just glad the cat moved. Let's see, did I make a mess? No. Cool. It would be just like me to spill wax all over the brand new rug.
It looks like, at least on my end, there is no to minimal reception.
So is it a buffering issue? Yeah. Well, when I popped in, so now we get not just Keperu as the Wi-Fi, but there's Keperu-EXT. And I signed on to just straight Keperu because it had 5 bars. Oh, it's the same password. It had to set up so that it had the same password. Basically, any password we set for the router sets for the extension. Basically, think of it as cloned. What?
I just find it funny when you wander off screen.
I had to put a thing down.
Any other conclusions about murders?
For $20, this is useful. Has some pluses and some drawbacks. It was a little tricky to put together. Like I don't know if it's made in India or China, but like the threads, if like me, you have reached the point where you need to have your reading glasses on to like see tiny things, it's going to take a little bit of doing to like get it all put together right. But aside from the fact that it has a bunch of fiddly bits, I like it so far. The thing that I have really enjoyed, as you see me poking at it, is so far, and I didn't expect this, but I wanted to test it. I how I harp on put some tin foil on it because it's going to be a mess. So far, the Kyphi has not stuck to this. It sticks a little bit, but it removes. It has not discolored it. This obviously isn't the one that I'm burning on right now, but so far, and I don't know if it's just the way it's constructed, the waffle shape, no clue, but so far it's been pretty good. Are you doing near far with?
I got kicked out of the studio.
Oh.
Do you know what the upload speed is? kbps something. No, that's all Paul.
Or DAPS. It's not me. Don't ask the person who's got dyscalculia like what the numbers are for things, because I don't even bother to try to remember them anymore. They just go in one ear out the other. Or I should say in one neuron and out the other. And it may just simply be that we don't record down here a lot. And that's fine. It's just I kind of want to show off the books. And the awesome bookshelves that Griff has built for us from the ground up. Like just you can't see all the detailing and like the nifty bits and like the way he put the ceiling together. And everything is geometric and decorated, and this is just an amazing space to stand in now. Uh, I lowered it down to like see at what point does it scorch too much.
Well, it's definitely past that point. It smells not like Kyphi. It smells upsetting.
Also, I will say that these two pieces, which are more wood chips than they are resin, are being a little tricky. Yeah. Try this one.
I feel like that lotus burner just looks like a fat little frog sitting on a lily pad.
And it is really, really pretty. Very, very Buddhist imagery with it, between the wheels and the lotuses and the various swirls. Yeah, it remains my favorite in terms of aesthetics, utility, and safety. Because like when you're burning it, like it doesn't get hot to the touch. So that's really, really nice. So like once you put the lid on, you're good to go. And it's got, obviously needle holes for everything to go through.
Probably a good time to stop the stream. It keeps freezing.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Like I said, I wanted to test. All right. Bye, everybody.